Christine Brennan just exposed the WNBA in a major way.
Christine Brennan is one of the best sports writers in the country, has been for a long time.
Caitlin Clark is way more important to the WNBA than Tiger Woods was to men's golf, even though he was huge. And to then see this negativity, like why and what should have been done? I looked seriously at the leadership of the WNBA. And how could you not be prepared for this moment? You've seen it happening in the Big Ten. You've seen it at Iowa. You see these TV ratings.
The WNBA just got called out. Big time. Christine Brennan, a well-respected journalist from USA Today, finally spoke up and exposed what many fans have been feeling for months. She didn't hold back. She laid out the facts, showed the receipts, and made it clear. The league has completely dropped the ball when it comes to Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just criticism, it was a full-on reality check. And now, people are questioning everything. Did the WNBA let jealousy cloud their judgment? Were some veteran players too bitter to support the new face of the league? Or is this just plain incompetence at the highest level? Either way, it's a terrible look. The league's credibility is on the line. Fans are angry. And honestly, how did it even get to this point? What do you think? Is this about jealousy? Is the WNBA sabotaging its biggest star on purpose? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. Let's get into it.
Came out, what she had to say in this book was going to shake the ground of the WNBA. She's been around for a very long time, and she knows the inner and outer workings of this league. Christine Brennan let it be known in multiple interviews that the WNBA was not ready for a superstar like Caitlin.
So, how did all this drama even start? It began with Christine Brennan, one of the most experienced and respected journalists in women's sports. She's been covering the game longer than many current players have been alive. And this time, she didn't just write another feel-good story. She wrote a book. And it wasn't soft. It wasn't sugar-coated. It was sharp, honest, and straight-up brutal. She exposed how the WNBA completely fumbled what should have been a golden opportunity with Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-generation talent. This wasn't just her opinion. It was a deep investigation that pulled no punches. And now, the shockwaves are still shaking the league from top to bottom. What happens next? We're all watching.
The thing I don't get, Christine, is that in the case of Tiger and in the case of Jordan, the other players and the league around them, in Tiger's case, the PGA Tour, realized that a rising tide raises all boats and were incredibly supportive of Tiger and Jordan. With Caitlin, it seems like, for whatever reason, she's polarizing. Like, she's been hit with more flagrant fouls than any player ever this year. They tried to come at you when you were writing a story and said, don't ask questions about why people don't like Caitlin Clark. But I'm going to ask you, Christine, why is she polarizing in your opinion? Why do people not embrace the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark?
Christine Brennan didn't write this book to play nice. She pulled the curtain all the way back and revealed just how unprepared, insecure, and honestly lazy the WNBA leadership was when Caitlin Clark arrived on the scene. This isn't just any rookie we're talking about. Caitlin Clark is the game changer, the one who dragged women's basketball into the spotlight like never before. She brought the ratings, the attention, and the buzz the league had been craving for years. But instead of celebrating, the WNBA seemed overwhelmed, and maybe even bitter. While fans were tuning in like never before, the league was scrambling behind the scenes, acting like her success was a problem instead of a gift. How does that even make sense?
One of the big points in the book, I deal with all of this and my research and reporting, because I was so perplexed as well. I mean, this is the greatest moment ever for the WNBA.
Yep.
We wish it happened sooner. Of course we wish it happened sooner. There were amazing players who, as you know, Ramona, I mean, both you guys know, were toiling in obscurity, the male-dominated mainstream sports media ignoring them.
Here's one of the most shocking parts from Brennan's investigation. Right after Caitlin Clark announced she was entering the 2024 WNBA draft, she called up a top league official to get their reaction. You'd expect excitement, right? Big headlines, celebration, maybe even a viral moment. But nope. Instead, the official calmly said that Clark joining the league was the biggest thing since Maya Moore. Really? Now, no disrespect to Maya, she's a legend on the court. But let's be honest. Outside of serious basketball fans, most people couldn't even recognize her in a grocery store. That response told Brennan, and all of us, everything. The league didn't fully get what was happening. They weren't ready for the cultural shift Clark was about to bring.
From home like everybody else. And I think, guys, that actually helped me understand as a journalist the fascination, because I've covered a lot over my career and been very fortunate to be at Wimbledon's and Super Bowls and Tiger Woods and you name it, I've covered it. And I'm so lucky to have done that. And I found myself fascinated, like, who is this? And I'm getting text messages from guys who would never have watched a second of women's basketball. Good guys, they want their daughters to play sports. I mean, good people, but just And they're texting, are you there? I'm watching. Are you seeing this performance? And that told me something that I actually was very helpful to be at home watching it versus being on press row, talking to a bunch of other journalists, that like, okay, there's something going on in the country here. And it's everyone's fascinated, and people are standing in line for hours in the cold around the Big Ten, this barnstorming tour. And it's all about a basketball player who happens to be a woman.
And this is where Christine Brennan's years of experience really stood out. She immediately saw what the league's top XX completely missed. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another talented player. She was a cultural game changer. A force big enough to finally shatter the old idea that the WNBA was some niche corner of sports. While the league was busy comparing her to stars who never moved the needle beyond hardcore fans, Brennan already understood. This was the beginning of the Caitlin Clark era, and the entire country was about to tune in.
So how did the WNBA react to that insight?
They did absolutely nothing. Seriously, nothing.
No big plans. No hype. No vision. They just sat back and hoped for the best, like it was business as usual.
And that's what makes this so unbelievable. It's almost impressive how badly you have to miss what might be the most obvious marketing opportunity in sports history.
But Brennan didn't stop there.
In her book, she reveals something even more stunning. It's not just that the WNBA failed to prepare, it's that they couldn't even imagine the possibility of success. They've been stuck in the shadows for so long, they forgot what it's like to be in the spotlight. It's like running a bakery and being confused when people actually show up to buy bread. That's how out of touch Brennan says they were. And it's honestly hard to argue with her.
Unauthorized, which is not ominous at all. You want it to be unauthorized because I can tell the truth, unvarnished. Caitlin's quoted throughout the book. She was great answering any question I asked her, but dealing with these important issues. So you've got a 74% black league. We understand this. I mean, I'm white. Ramona, I think you guys are white.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it's like to be black in America. And I say that. Let's be brutally honest here. Here comes a white woman from Iowa, and she's going to be the biggest superstar. Now, absolutely. The spotlight's shining on her. Finally, it's shining on all these other players who deserved it for years but never got it. And that's a wonderful turn of events. But instead of focusing on the positives, sadly, the WNBA players, so many...
And it's not like this took anyone by surprise. Brennan's reporting makes it crystal clear. Plenty of people saw this coming.
Journalists, analysts, even YouTubers had been following Caitlin Clark since her Iowa days, shouting from the rooftops that she was different.
Special. A superstar in the making. Her fan base was massive.
They were loud, loyal, and ready to fill arenas the moment she went pro. But somehow, the WNBA front office didn't get the memo.
It's like they were too busy crunching numbers to notice the tidal wave headed their way. Just look at the numbers.
In 2023, the Indiana Fever averaged about 4,000 fans per game.
That's barely more than a sleepy high school gym on a weekday night in Texas.
Then Caitlin Clark shows up for a preseason game, and everything changes. Fans were lining up 2 hours before tip-off. The buzz felt more like a Taylor Swift concert than a WNBA game. Even the building security was shocked. They'd never seen anything like it. And yet somehow, the people in charge didn't see it coming.